It's time for the Gold Show. Jonathan Rose, CEO, President of the Capital Gold Group, and Precious Metals Investment Strategist is with us today. Jonathan, good to talk with you again.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and a warm welcome to all the listeners just tuning in on today's Gold Show. And we're going to help educate our listeners today on the importance of adding gold to a balanced part of a portfolio and why gold is really considered to be portfolio insurance.
And Jonathan, before we get started, we want to offer a special gold guide that you've prepared for our listeners, right?
Absolutely. In fact, we have a fresh, updated gold guide for 2009. It will show listeners how to purchase gold at the lowest possible prices, which gold coins and bars will give them a better return in the future. And if you have a retirement plan, such as a 401k or an IRA, we'll even show you how to back that up with solid gold. It's all in there. It's normally an $80 value. The listeners get it free today just by calling us toll-free at 800-510-9594. Again, it's 800-510-9594. They'll get the free gold guide. It also comes with a great DVD. It's really a good education to get started and really show people the importance of adding gold as a part of a balanced portfolio.
And that is what we're going to talk about on the Gold Show today. Capital Gold Group really is America's leading provider of gold-backed IRA and 401k plans. Gold, Jonathan, you say remains an outstanding opportunity for investments. Why is this?
Well, first of all, it's really considered a safe haven, and obviously people who have been following the market and realizing, this deep recession that we're in and a very volatile stock market, and when people, pay attention to the likes of billionaire Warren Buffett, who's clearly stated that the days of double-digit returns are over in the stock market, well, people are wondering, well, where else should I park my money? Well, in fact, one of the moves Warren Buffett recently actually just acquired was by purchasing two of the largest gold manufacturing companies in America, because that's how he actually diversifies his portfolio. Now, obviously, people like you and I can't go ahead and purchase a gold mine, but what we can do is we can purchase physical gold, such as American Eagles or Canadian Maple Leafs, and we can use that gold as a hedge against uncertainty, a hedge against economic turmoil, whether it's volatility in the stock market, whether it's political tensions overseas. A good financial advisor should be recommending to you at least 5 to 30% of what you have in paper to be moved sideways into precious metals, where you actually get to hold on to it, and that's where the security is in today's market.
And today we're going to talk about balancing the investment portfolio with physical gold assets. You say, Jonathan, it's a key for not only private investors, but for everybody, right?
Absolutely. And maybe in the past, especially before 9/11 happened, gold wasn't an attractive investment for people, where, the stock market was thriving, a lot of dot-com companies were doing extremely well, and that's how people were making their money. And obviously after that bubble burst and people lost lots and lots of money, well, some were left stranded. Well, the people that shielded themselves with gold, well, what they were able to do was limit their losses, and they really saw a true haven, a safe haven, where they could put their money into something tangible, and it's going to be worth something not just today, tomorrow, but next year. And there's a reason why a lot of these Wall Street traders and pundits are running around screaming, cash is trash, cash is trash. Obviously, there's a slight joke to that, but the message they're trying to tell people is this is the year you want to diversify, be moving into commodities, something heavy that if it drops on your foot, you went, ow, and they're talking about solid gold.
And, Jonathan, we're going to share the number with today's news stories that we talk about, everything from, big automotive giants going into Chapter 11 and banks having to be shored up. These stories really reflect a changing global economic climate, one that, as you described, is fraught with uncertainty. Why is gold such a value right now?
Well, I think, in my opinion, one of the main values gold really brings to anybody's portfolio is a hedge against inflation. And inflation is very insidious. You don't actually see it, but it's there, and it's like a caterpillar on the leaf, and that leaf represents the US dollar, and it's taking a small bite out of it, and the consumer goods that dollar could actually purchase year after year continues to shrink. Now, gold is the only asset that has actually kept pace with inflation for the past last 200 years. You know, the stock market hasn't, nobody's mutual funds have either. So really it's a flight to safety and security. And if we really look throughout time, whether it's the Egyptians and pharaohs, you know, they've been using gold to, you know, adore gold, whether it's to preserve their wealth. Even members of the royal family, heads of state, they've been using gold to preserve their wealth for centuries. It's no secret. Gold is definitely not a backseat investment. It's definitely not a desperation move. And in fact, it's kind of funny because I was reading an article recently where some equities trader, he looked at gold as a desperation move, or they like to refer to people who like gold as gold bugs. Well, I don't believe gold is a desperation move, and that's why you have a lot of the top hedge funds right now on Wall Street that are putting gold to back up these hedge funds and even trade with gold.
Well, we're going to talk about diversifying the portfolio on the Gold Show today. We're going to share a number in a second that allows you to get the gold guide or get started right now, because we're going to talk about gold offering privacy and liquidity and the consistently profitable return that it's been seeing here. It is described as one of the safest investments available in today's uncertain financial landscape. If you're tired of seeing those stocks just keep plummeting and dropping, and you want to balance out your portfolio, well, why not look at gold? And today we're going to share the phone number for you to get the gold guide so that you can get the background on it. Talk with a gold specialist. See what's right for you. Find out about this internationally recognized asset that has a strong intrinsic value that stably increases in spite of fluctuating stock markets. Jonathan, to get the gold guide in the hands of our listeners right now, you have set it up so that they can get this $80 value free in their hands, sent out to them with no expense, correct?
Absolutely. We even pay for the postage. There's no obligation. But if you want a good education on gold, or you've been reading about gold now, there's lots of gold stories out there, and it's hard to kind of, locate them all and read them all. So what we've done is we've put together a 2009 Insider's Guide to Owning Gold, which really, talks about a lot of these news stories that you may read on Bloomberg or Kitco or on Wall Street Journal. We've made it very easy to follow, and it really outlines and highlights the advantages and benefits of owning gold. And it also comes with a great DVD, so it's very educational. And the listeners, if they would like this for free today, all they have to do is pick up the phone, call us toll-free at 800-510-9594. Again, folks, that's 800-510-9594. They can even see us online at www.safeasgold.com or safeasgold.us.
We're talking with Jonathan Rose from the Capital Gold Group. The 21st century gold rush is really on right now, as the Capital Gold Group is offering physical gold products that provide safety and security for your investment portfolio. Now, let's talk about some of the things that it does. We talked a little while ago about asset allocation. Now let's talk about the devalued currency, because this is one of the things that is really scary when you think about it. That money that's sitting in your wallet right now, better spend it today, because it isn't going to be worth as much tomorrow, right?
Oh, absolutely. And there's been many stories, even people in my office, where they've invested with large brokerage houses. I had one gentleman, he invested in a telecommunication stocks. It was over 10 years ago, but he invested over $100,000 into this stock, and it was in Mexico. And at the time, it was doing extremely well. He got a phone call from his broker the very next day, and he said the stock was worthless. And it wasn't because the stock had lost value or the company had gone bankrupt or anything. It was because the government devalued the currency, the Mexican peso.
And we're seeing the same thing with our dollar now. You say that since 2001, the U.S. dollar index has decreased over 30%, and gold prices have increased over 300%, right?
Absolutely. And if people look at these figures and they realize this trend is going to continue to happen, especially over the next 5 to 7 years, in my opinion. And that's why it really does make sense to take a position in gold, not put everything into gold. That definitely does not make sense. And that's why you want to have a balanced portfolio. So whether you have, treasury notes or